and we are back for part 2 of the art of the Huret in all of its creation. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
So our people are wondering what was going on.
We had a little medical emergency, and if you're going to have a medical emergency in a club, I suggest you join ours because we have 5 nurses.
Yes.
And the ambulance is less than 2.5 minutes away, so I think this is all going to be okay. Perhaps someone got a little overly refreshed. We're not sure, but we'll find out.
Well, we're sure it's going to be okay.
And I should take this moment, because I didn't do it earlier, I said that this is a team effort. This is a team effort putting the display together. It's a team effort putting the food on the table. That's the members of the Carmel Doll and Toy Study Group. And you know, when you get sick, they'll come and help you out. So we're going to, I think I'm going to try to do this where we left
right
off.
Up here.
Okay, so we're at the first generation Huret with the gutta percha body. And the first dolls actually had a one-piece arm, if you notice this, although it had articulation. I am particularly fond of this because it looks very nice with the short-sleeved dresses and blouses and things. Very cute. It had beautiful articulation. It was meant to be 1/3 the size of a real living child at that time, what they considered the proper height. So you will find them at about 17.5 to 18 inches. Now, gutta percha, as I said earlier, is like rubber. So if you left this on your radiator, you could stretch the doll.
Oh.
So that's why you'll sometimes see
Wow.
variations in the size. Not a whole lot, but you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
As it aged, it went from soft to very hard. And the hard part was the problem when it became brittle. So almost at the time of making them, that it was in a way it's not a good material for dolls. Except, here's the except part. It is a natural material, so it can be repaired. All natural materials can be repaired. So this is the first. Then I'm going to look, because I've got so much to choose from, and this would be the second arm pattern, which would have the joint. This would have originally have had gutta percha hands also, but she went back to, this is Lucy. A lot of people know who Lucy is.
Oh, it's Lucy.
It's Lucy.
She's wearing a different outfit. Look
Yes.
at her.
Well, she had to change.
Yeah, of
So
course.
she probably in the 1880s went to the Huret company and got the latest new hands, probably from some hand damage. So she has the jointed elbow and the jointed wrists. So that's the body talk I'm going to do today. But the bodies are very important. Now I'm going to move on to the heads. So we have the China head, and I have some very interesting thing, and it may have, okay. So look at this photograph. That is a China head, and it says my doll, 1863, and look at the address. It's 10 Boulevard Montmartre. The shop was 20 Boulevard Montmartre. So what is very interesting about this little photograph, the doll's dressed in a chemise, so therefore I'm assuming it's new, brand new. It's dressed it's dressed in a chemise, and this is 1863. So this follows my theory that none of these heads necessarily went out of production. As long as people were buying them, they provided them. If you wanted a China, you wanted a bisque, you could have whatever you want. So the Chinas, we've got a China here, 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 and here, and here.
This is absolutely sublime.
And they're all unique, one of a kind, original. You can tell that they're sisters.
I'm at a loss
you can tell
words
that
to
they're
see.
sisters,
Look at
but
that.
they're all individually painted.
Amazing.
So even though you can see a family resemblance, they're all different.
What a treat for us to get up and close and see them so close. It's a potluck of Hurets,
Yes.
and they're just absolutely
In the era
amazing.
that we're going to talk about right now, there is a missing link that we don't have. So what we don't have is the transition from this to this. Carol, could you do me a favor? And could you go to the kitchen and tell them to quiet down a little bit? This is a real live place. Yeah. Oh, no, Carol, you don't have to. Stephanie the mama at that table.
She's mama. She's gonna go get it done.
What we don't have is the link between this and this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the last virtual convention. You're going to watch the program of the Toy and Miniature Museum that we helped put together. You're going to look at that because that's going to go. What they realized is this head didn't translate into bisque. So even though the proportions are exactly the same, this is a completely different mold. Completely different. And what you get to experience, Rachel, that you can't have virtually is the china doesn't have this rim. You see this rim? This protrudes out. They all have it. Everyone on the table has
Look at that.
it.
If we can turn the camera, you can see that right there. That is so interesting.
And that is one of the reasons that a lot of the new Hurets, that some artists have had a problem. If you don't have that piece, you're never going to get it to look right. It's going to look like a Barrois, or it's going to look like a Romer. It's not going to have that Huret look. The other thing I want to point out, here's a gorgeous china. They're all gorgeous, by the way. There's none that aren't. But what's interesting about Hurets, they're not overglazed. So it's not as shiny as, say, a German china head. But I also feel that the glaze is one more protective layer on the doll. So it gave them a little bit of an edge to survive rough play with that, the extra bit of glaze. The next thing we're going to look at is, the name of today was White Lace and Promises. Well, this is a very special doll to us. And I should tell you her provenance because I believe we're all Americans in this room. And this came to us via France. We bought it. And I'll be very honest, we bought it for resale. And it was delivered to us. And because we didn't have a bisque swivel head in our collection. But we just had bought one. But we bought this for resale. And the person that sold this to us said, by the way, I think you might be interested to know that came from the Bertoldi family. And I said, you mean the family that Bertoldi, the sculptor that created the Statue of Liberty? And they said, yes, that one. And so other doll went bye-bye. But what I have to tell you is interesting about her is we're going to do quite a program on her, and it's going to be called Restoring Liberty. Because today she didn't want to be left out of the program. So today she borrowed someone else's body, and she's living on their body until David repairs her body.
Sometimes we wish we could do that, right?
I know. And I didn't even have time to do her hair, but this is her original. She's
stunning.
Hair. And her body right now is in a kit form. So we've photographed it. It'll be very interesting to see what David does with it. But she will go back on it. She just didn't want to miss out. So here you have, and then this was a major, we've got swivel neck here, swivel neck here, here. This was a major improvement that your doll's head could move. Now, they weren't just sitting around thinking we've got to make the world a better place. They were thinking about what new product can we make? And you can't really patent a face, but you can patent articulation. So that's where we really learn a lot about the Huret company. And then, so I kind of skipped over here. We have another wonderful shoulder head, another great china, another swivel.
Michael, a lot of people have come out with some fabulous products, and they failed. What it was one of the secret of their success, some of their secret sauce that really propelled
first
them?
of all, they had the experience. That was the main thing. I have said this, and I will probably get killed for this, but I'm going to say it today. We could teach anybody to sew. We could teach anybody the basic sewing. What you cannot teach someone is how to design something, how to pick the fabrics, how to put that all together. That's what made it work for them, their supreme taste. The Huret sisters were not sitting sewing these items. They found the right people to work for them, and while they were doing it, they created an industry. And I'm sure if we could go back in time, imagine this 1,200 dolls, what their exhibits must have looked like and the things that they had. And they were at the beginning. They're like, you're the pioneer of virtual doll conventions. No one will ever be able to take that away from you. No one can take the fact that they were the first. And everybody followed them. I'm also going to point, I think I should move to clothes because everybody loves clothes. So before about 1870, so we're talking from 1840s to 1870s, children's clothing, I'm not talking ladies, children's clothing almost didn't change. So that's why you see these dolls from different eras. They're all in basically the same kind of girl outfits.
These outfits are so famous.
There are a lot of famous outfits on this table, which I'm proud to say.
Absolutely.
This is an outfit that once belonged to the doll Blondinette. And remember, the Empress of France, who was the style setter, was Scottish. And so tartan became all the rage. Look at the beautiful choice of this beautiful print, perfectly scaled. And then this would have been in price-wise, this one. This would be in the top of the price
sublime.
point. This is late 1860s. You're kind of almost getting into the 70s silhouette, but not quite. That is a tremendous amount of work, and this is a masterpiece of a dress.
It is absolutely a masterpiece. What are some of the super distinctive things that you look for when you're looking at Huret clothing?
Well, the one thing I should tell you is that many pieces on this table are marked, and they are marked. I brought a piece that you could easily. This is a chemise. It's marked.
That is so. Is that really rare to have the mark?
Yes, because all it would take. I'm sure every chemise they sold was marked. One laundry, bye Mark. It's all gone. That's why I tell people don't over launder things. Here's a case in point. Here's a quart. I mean, I would be tempted to launder this, but I would never ever do it because you'd lose that mark. So they branded their product. And again, I was talking about choices and taste. Look at this. This is a form of a Mary Stuart bonnet, but look at the beautiful work.
It's just exquisite.
Yeah. So, and then of course, packaging is important. So your name brand, I think I can get you.
That's the next thing I was going to ask.
Packaging.
Those green boxes.
Those green boxes. I have seen people that couldn't walk again when they see across the room
how many of you have bound across the room when you see those green boxes?
Obviously.
How do you hold your ground, Michael, when you see one of those green boxes?
You know what? I would never take anything from someone else, but I can do this, and it's like, you're not.
You're not getting past. I love
There's
it.
one dealer that tried to go around the whole other table, around the room. That didn't work for her. So here is.
Look at that,
Here is
everybody.
a full mark.
Let's get in so we can see that. That's amazing.
So this was a status symbol in its time. So you'd have I'm sure that you'd go in and you'd buy a stack of goodies, and you had every single item. Like for instance, this has been from our collection highly copied by the modern artists, but you don't think of a handkerchief as being that important, but they didn't have the things that we have today. So that's pretty wonderful. And again, look at the prints, perfectly scaled. That's little cherries.
Mm-hmm.
Again, fabulous soutache work. More tartan wear.
Personally, do you have a favorite era of Huret?
Well, this is my favorite. Yes, I love it all. I mean, I think that as we go later, and which we're not talking about today, that you have to be selective because, you had all the world problems that they had. That's what the quality is. This, they did, yes, they would eventually have problems, but when these dolls were created, this was the golden era. Mm-hmm. France was booming. Luxury was, they made those boulevards as wide as they could for the parade of fashion that went up and down. And I should point out to you, this is a print that I absolutely love. And I think that I'm going to very carefully take a part of it apart so that we can have this reproduced, because it's for the sewers that are doing things today, you don't need anything. You don't need ribbon, you don't need lace, you just need this fabric.
Those are poppies, and I'm not sure what the other flower is, but it's just
I think
amazing.
if Shazam from France is watching, maybe he can put in the comment. I know that this has some significance. Mm-hmm. It's a significant pattern for the French. And of course, the dolls had to have tables and chairs, and it all started, as I said earlier, with a bed. So eventually they had to have tables and chairs. It's interesting that you would think in our mind that you'd get one table with two chairs. But I think that they suggested that you have a table and a chair, one doll. Remember, in the 19th century, even if you were fabulously wealthy, you did not spoil your children with too many things. They had to learn to take care of the quality items that they had. And this is something that I should share with the group. So I consider this the most precious, rare Huret artifact that there is in the world, because this is actually the bronze medal that they won in 1855.
That is amazing. Look at that.
That is the
medal.
That
it's
is
not
the
a
medal.
reproduction.
Yes, it's a
that
Caliste
is the
Huret.
one.
And what makes it also special, if you're working and running your business and trying to make it in the world, it's pretty nice when the Empress of France hands it to you, because it was her job to pass those out.
Look at
so
that.
That's a pretty neat. The one thing is also the family. They're very clever. They were royalists, but they could move their allegiance to who was ever in power. So I think that they did pretty well that way.
Now, I have to say something about these shoes.
Yes.
Those are
these
I
shoes?
have never seen these before. Are these from somebody in the club?
Everything here is from somebody in the club.
This is.
I'm not going to say who.
These shoes.
But if
whoever they are.
If they go away, we have a nice insurance policy. Oops, they got lost. But these, I think that these are not mine, so I could say this. These are my most favorite shoes ever. And there's one other pair that we don't have that's my second favorite pair. Now, I don't think I'll ever get these, but the other pair, number 2, I think I might.
Well, those are, it's just a treat to see
And
them.
let me show you this, because this is what I love about people that have creativity. Look at what they did here. Again, it's kind of a Mary Stuart bonnet with a little capelet attached. But they've taken file ribbon and just very loosely braided it and made this fantastic trim.
Wow,
of course, beautiful
look at that.
blonde lace, Chantilly lace, pink and black, which was a very popular color at the time. And of course, this is what we would call a real Huret parasol, because it's their metal work, and then it was painted to simulate ivory. So it's pretty nifty.
I have never seen a doll that had more accessories than the Huret.
Well, she's the Barbie of her time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there would be we've had many with original trunks, and you usually have about 12 outfits, and then you'll have the accessories that go with the outfits, and there will be then things that could be. This also was the era of mix and match. So you could have a bodice that could be for day, then you could have a different bodice to change. So they did a lot of mix, but think Barbie. It's really the concept of Barbie. I didn't bring out because we had so many dolls, but we do have a trunk. So they're selling you the doll, the clothes, the trunk. Really in the beginning, they expected you to make clothes. Well, then if you really think about it, there's a little profit in the doll, but the real profit is in all the stuff, the extras. And just like today, when people go to American Girl, grandma goes to American Girl, a good grandma is going to buy everything. You're going to buy and it was then the same. So we weren't going to take questions from the audience, but now since we have this drama and excitement, does anyone have questions? They're all silent.
Well,
this
because
is
we're in awe.
unbelievable for this group.
This never happens.
Yes, it never happens.
We are in awe.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So how did it go from large scale big piece of furniture to making that little doll?
Well, they were making the doll cradle. I would imagine that I'm not a metal worker, but I would imagine when you're working with metal, you're going to have some scraps and leftovers, and bedrooms were 10,000 times more important in the 19th century, 18th century, 17th century. So this was a good way for them to make some money. But this product is responsible for this.
And the question was, how did they go from making full-size
I'm not making that up. That is on
furniture
in the
to
record
small scale?
Of her explanation of why she
Wanted to
decided
show you
make
guys
these
this
dolls.
one. This one with the black and white lace is just sublime. She has
And that's
jewelry.
Mhm. Oh, yes.
The jewelry is just incredible. Is this Huret jewelry?
I think that is, Huret jewelry would be, here is a piece of Huret jewelry. And if you can see the twisted
You can
metal.
tell that, yeah.
See the twisted metal, like the furniture?
Yes.
And that it has a very simple, porcelain painting on it. This, I believe, it's not mine, but I believe that this is the real deal. This is real, real seed pearls, real gold, but what's very nice about that dress is that's tulle. And tulle can, if it's overworked at that age, it could just dissolve.
Absolutely.
So it's in beautiful, beautiful condition.
What a sight to behold.
And this one is also something you should look at too. Look at the work in that dress. It's just unbelievable. And this follows the 40, most Huret skirts are about 40 inches wide, and this follows that. They're not all wearing hoops because they wouldn't fit on the table if they were. And of course, here's another, let me step in front of you, Rachel. Here's another fantastic outfit. Incredible.
It's so chic when it's one color.
Oh, monochromatic
It's
is
just always chic.
always chic. But look at the false sleeves.
Oh, look at that.
Oh,
That's incredible.
I'm sorry. These are not full sleeves. This is a whole.
That is a
blouse.
full sleeve? That's amazing.
But I mean, the work in it is extraordinary. This one, I'm really enjoying her today. I had to find out who owns that one. They came in while we weren't looking.
This is a treat for the convention and for me and for everybody here, because to have this many Hurets in one spot is very unheard of.
Yeah, this is not something that you see every day.
No, this is a big deal.
So I want to also point out too, these are there's a couple of makers for the Huret company for shoes, but one main one was Terry, and this is their, and you can see it's got a little T.
Oh, there it is. Look at
Yeah,
that.
but they are extraordinary shoes, extraordinary work. And if you really think about it, if you get this job to supply them with shoes, that's a good little kickstart to an at-home worker. And I think we touched on that yesterday with Mademoiselle Barreau's program, so they can watch that too.
Yes, Michael gave us 4 wonderful programs yesterday at the Grovian, and then we had our fabulous George Stewart.
And this
Look
is
at
one of
that.
my favorite hats too. I mean, it's just
And this comb in the hair is just
but
wonderful.
Lucy will model it for you. So again, it's just a fabulous little hat with straw with black chantilly lace.
Lucy has one of the most extensive trousseaux that I've ever seen with a Huret.
Well, I mean, to be very honest, there are a lot of dolls in this table that they have extensive trousseaux too. They just don't live at the Grovian Museum. So someday they might. You never know.
You never know.
I'm going to point out a couple more things, and then we're going to have dessert. But I want you to see this
Oh,
workmanship
look at that.
here.
That looks like dessert.
So it does. So you have the blonde lace with the chantilly lace, and then with some machine made lace trimming this, pleated and then swagged.
Oh.
I mean, that is just incredibly chic.
It is so perfect for our white lace and promises high tea that we are having, which is sponsored by the wonderful
Carmel
Doll
and
and
Toy
Study Group.
Exactly.
You guys, this is, raise your hand if you're in the Carmel Doll and Toy Study Group. Okay, look at all of our wonderful, you made this possible for 1,208 people out here in the world, and I know that they have just had the most marvelous time. Thank you, thank you, thank you from the conventioneers, from us to you,
And
Michael and David.
we have members of our club that live all over the
Yes.
world, and some of them have been sharing in this feed, and we encourage them that, like such as Carol Cameron from the United Kingdom. We have members in Switzerland and all over, and that they couldn't be here, but we're hoping that they'll share some of their Hurets, with the world.
Absolutely. Well, and one of the most beautiful and wonderful things about having something beautiful is to be able to share it, right? And to share it with the world. And so you guys not only provided this tea today, you're a title sponsor of our virtual convention. So you are making this possible. You are on the ground floor of changing the world. Your contribution is creating miracles in many lives. Thank you so much.
On that note,
Yes.
so Rachel, I think today's the last day of this convention. What next?
What next?
What are you going to do next?
Well, I guess we're just going to have to go to Paris.
Oh, well, that works for me. 1,200.
Yes, all 1,208 of us. We're going to go to
Okay.
Paris.
All right.
We'll be announcing, hopefully, maybe later today, but maybe tomorrow, our exact plans.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Paris is always a good idea.
Always a good idea. Okay, we're going to sign off and now have dessert, but wave goodbye, everybody. It is so fun to see you. You look gorgeous. All right, we'll see you soon. Bye.